Well, let's move to Steinhoff, which is an integrated retailer that manufactures, sources and retails furniture and household goods in Europe, Africa and Australasia. It recently acquired
Pepkor.
Yeah,
exactly.
and Mattress Firm as well.
That's in the US.
It's listed in Frankfurt. Market cap 265.6 billion rand here, and a price to earnings ratio of 12.9, dividend yield 3.6%.
Okay, so we own this one. It has South African roots, although it's the combination of a South African group under Marcus Jooste and Christo Wiese and some European assets that were brought into the mix by Klaus Dahn and by Bruno Steinhoff. Listed in Frankfurt, and you would have noticed if you follow the market closely that last week it had an absolute
tax issues coming to the fore again.
So let's get that on the table, because it hasn't done all that well for us recently. It got as high as sort of almost 80, 90 rands a share, and that's sort of fallen back to around 60.
And while you're speaking, Chris, let's get the share price graph up on the screen.
Yeah, you know, as we were saying just before we came online, this is an old issue that's been around for at least 18 months that I can remember. And I think Chairman Christo Wiese and rather eloquently referred to it as drivel last week on Bruce Whitfield's show. And I think that neatly summarizes what it's about. I don't think there's an awful lot of substance, of any substance of this at all. So unfortunately, I think it's going to overhang the share for a while until there's some sort of investigation into this and it's out of the way.
Okay,
but this is the second time that we have heard from the German tax authorities and the investigation.
Yeah.
So where there's smoke, there's fire?
Yeah, that's a good observation, because apparently what it does is that it relates to the way, remember when Steinhoff listed, they created, at first they thought a German-based subsidiary, then they said, no, we're going to go and make a Dutch-based one, but it'll be listed in Frankfurt. They had bought businesses in Austria and Germany called Kickerlane, which is a furniture retailer like Conforama. Apparently the party from whom they bought that was grumpy about the amounts that they were paid. So there's a dispute there. Some information was leaked to the German tax authorities. The tax authorities looked at it. They may or may not still be investigating it, but nothing has come of it for 2 years. So this management magazine that published this article, the Steinhoff people say it's nonsense. We're all sorted. We took advice. We don't have a concern. And the guy that we're fighting with, maybe we'll settle with him at some point. The problem,
Are
however,
you concerned as a shareholder?
Not especially, because we know that the Steinhoff Group is big enough now not to cut any corners. They are quite adventurous by nature, but we generally are of the view that this will kind of go away, and it certainly doesn't justify the conking in of the share price. But here's the thing. The German market is quite conservative and staid. For a company like this, they wanted to get included in the DAX 30. My concern is that that's not going to happen.
Reputational damage, just that uncertainty will have done enough damage to get them not to be included in the DAX.
Well, there's that, and there are also some sort of liquidity issues that the Germans are looking at that they want to check before they include them in the index. So it's a bit of a reputational concern is my worry.
Hot, not hot?
I love this stock, and I'm sure this will be blown out of the water in the not too distant future, and I'm extremely hot in this one.
Extremely hot.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned it, but they are also reorganizing their Southern African assets by doing Steinhoff retail, and they're going to do that, and they've got control now with Wiese's assistance of ShopRite. It's quite complicated, but there's, you know...
You are still hot on this?
Still hot on Steinhoff. Happy to be holding it and maybe even buying it at current levels.
Well, it sounds as though, Chris, you would, with extremely hot, you would be buying it as well.
I mean, really, it's cheap. 12.8 PE. It's for nothing.
Well, there we go.